Before we begin the video, if you haven't yet, come on down and join my Discord server. Link is down in the description. Hey guys, welcome back for our review of episode 10 of Seabound, the Riddle of the Sphinx. Kai and Ray are fighting. This is part of Wu's observation of the Masters of Fire, and then they get this call about the location of the amulet. They go to the Explorers Club, but of course, they're not let in unless they can answer this riddle from a Sphinx. The answer turns out to be fire, and of course, Kai answers it. So the ninja gain access, they enter the room where the amulet is, and then suddenly Kalmar barges in. A big fight breaks out. Back at the island, Bethamar tells Nia about the original Master of Water, Naiad, I forgot the pronunciation. But he recommends that she use her powers to attract some marine life, which she is able to do successfully at the end of this episode. So yes, this episode marks a return back to the Explorers Club, and I never really enjoyed the original episode, but this one is definitely a lot better. I really enjoy the Kalmar versus Wu and that big fight at the end. It was really exciting. Nice to see Wu back in action just for a bit. We really haven't seen him like this since the season 13 finale, and it was a good fight. I love how Kalmar just basically barges in. And yeah, I also like that this episode definitely seems to kind of be setting up or hinting at Kai's role in the future. There is kind of this emphasis on fire. I have a few issues, but we'll discuss that later. But I definitely think that this is sort of foreshadowing for Kai's role in 2022 or a future story. And if it is, that's great. Very well done. Another highlight of this episode, I really enjoyed that it actually has some of Nia and the island storyline. I don't feel like this episode would be as good if it was just the Explorers Club stuff. But this episode sort of hints at the backstory that is going to be addressed in episode 12 with this character Naiad, who is the conqueror of Wajira and the first elemental master of water. And there's also this idea that Nia could speak to or control marine life. Just such a creative idea. This season and season 13 came up with these super creative uses of earth and water, and I just really enjoy how they fleshed out these elemental powers. Now, I don't really understand why the whole Sphinx thing was necessary. Back in season 11, they just broke in and stole the scroll, so why do they have to legally enter this time? Why can't they just do ninja stuff and steal the amulet? Doesn't really make sense, feels kind of inconsistent. I also feel like with the whole riddle thing and fire, obviously it's foreshadowing, I'm well aware, but I feel like this riddle and the answer doesn't really connect enough to this episode specifically. Back in season 1, the whole riddle in the 4th episode was very connected to the theme of the episode and the redemption of Lloyd, but here it just feels very random. It just doesn't connect enough to this episode specifically, and I feel like it could have been done better. Not bad, but it's just not the most interesting, I guess. And then lastly, the name Naiad, just Nia with a D at the end. Definitely not the most original. I do find it cool how she's named after this person, but I feel like they could have done better than just adding a letter. Final thoughts, this episode's plot was good but not great. I feel like some parts could have been more connected to the episode. And then what's up next? So yeah, characters, nobody really stands out too much in this episode. It was nice to see the B team in action, and Misako and Wu and Ray. Oh yeah, and then of course Nia as well. How could I forget about her? And then action first. Action was great. I love the fight between Kalmar and Wu. And then emotion, well, there was some nice emotion with Nia at the end. I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. This episode was good but not great. I feel like this and episode 5 are probably my least favorites of the season, but it was still good. It was still enjoyable. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know. Share your thoughts on episode 10 below, and I'll see you next time.